So, to explain my situation, I was building some nostalgic decks, one of which was Fabled. It was a dark time for me. I was going through some shit yesterday. And I remembered I used to play a lot of Dueling Book when I was in school, and I managed to guess the password to my old account. This account is 8 years old, and if you scroll down, you can find duel records. This holds a replay of every duel that you have ever done on your account. Some of them won't work, some of them will work, but I've gone through a fuck ton of them, and I've just picked out the best ones. One thing you will realize very quickly, I had no idea what I was fucking doing. In my hand, at present, there's Majespecter Totogama, Majespecter Raccoon Bunbuku, Majespecter Tornado, Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice, and then 2 mysterious cards that I don't remember, because we still draw for turn. I know it is Master Rule 4, and there is Master Rule 4, like this is the Master Rule 4 game board, but for the longest time we still drew for turn and we didn't obey the Master Rule 4 rules because the only thing you could really use was Link Spider, the B one that I don't remember the name of, and Decode Talker. But anyway, what do you think I do? I'll give you 5 seconds. Just kidding, I won't give you any seconds. Set scale, Majespecter Totogama. Okay, so he's probably going to go into Majespecter Raccoon Bunbuku, search out a monster, then Pendulum Summon. Nope, we're going to set Majespecter Raccoon Bunbuku as a Pendulum scale. Therefore, we can't fucking do anything. We can't Pendulum Summon. We didn't realize you couldn't normal summon in face-up defense position. Because we got all of our rulings from the anime, we just assumed that you could summon in face-up defense position, and for some reason Dueling Book just didn't have that. So we just summoned in face-up defense position for a while. Anyway, activate Star Pendulum Graph. This deck is not a Magician's deck. This is Speedroid Majespecter. This is a Speedroid Majespecter deck. There are no Pendulum Magician monsters in this deck. The reason why this is in the deck is for the effect of your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with spell cards or effects. Issue is, if you know your Majespecters, you know that every single Majespecter carries the text cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This is monster spells and traps. This is a pointless card. This is literally a -1 in a 60 card deck, might add, with an incomplete extra deck. At least Lexi knew what he was doing with a 40 card deck and 15 card extra deck. Well, he doesn't really know what he's doing, but you don't know that yet. Anyway, we set Majespecter Tornado face down. Lexi draws for turn. We set 4, and we summon Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, so when he's normal summoned, you can add 1 ninjutsu art from your deck to your hand. Except he doesn't do that. Then activates the Broken Bamboo Sword that he set. Then activates Cursed Bamboo Sword, and equips it also onto Grandmaster Hanzo, and bounces Broken Bamboo Sword to his hand. This doesn't do anything if you bounce a Bamboo Sword back to your hand. It does nothing. Go battle phase. Attack the dice. We activate Majespecter Tornado. We tribute Totogama from the Pendulum Zone, which you can't do because it's not a monster. Tribute 1 wind spellcasted monster. While it's in the Pendulum Zone, it's a spell card. It's not a monster. Also, Totogama went to the graveyard instead of face up in the extra deck. Of course, Cursed Bamboo Sword goes to the graveyard, so you can add a Bamboo Sword from his deck to his hand, shuffle the deck, and I just immediately end my turn. It's Lexi's turn. Twilight Ninja Shingetsu. Activate the Bamboo Sword, play Golden Bamboo Sword, draws 1, 2, then he drew a 3rd card, and drew Earth Armor Ninja. Now this was the 3rd card drawn, Earth Armor Ninja. Thing is, he just puts Churin back in his deck. He draws 3 cards and then just puts 1 back. Draw for turn, we set a card face down. Lexi then draws Twilight Ninja Jogan. If your ninja attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage, and he tributes both of them for Churin, sending Earth Armor Ninja to the graveyard to activate Churin's effect to gain 1000 extra attack points, attacking over my red-eyed dice, inflicting some damage to me, and then we go into my turn, where I admit defeat. So that kind of sets the precedent as to where we were in our Yu-Gi-Oh journey. Character development, we don't do anything as bad as that for the rest. Well, I don't do anything as bad as that. But as you can see, I have not learned my lesson yet. We're at 60 cards in deck. Lexi is still running 40 cards. 1 less on the extra deck, however, and I am running 1 more on the extra deck. So clearly I have mugged Lexi for everything he is worth, which is 1 whole card in the extra deck. Anyway, first turn draw because we love that. Majesty's Pegasus, I've actually learned. I didn't have this in my deck previously. All Majespecter monsters gain 300 attack. You contribute 1 win spellcaster monster, special summon 1 level 4 or lower Majespecter monster from your deck. You can only use this effect Majesty's Pegasus once per turn. Anyway, set a card. What is it? Speedroid Domino Butterfly. Mystical Space Typhoon destroys my Majespecter Tempest, and we're fine. I draw. We set Totogama. And we activate Duelist Alliance. If there is a card in the Pendulum Zone, add 1 Pendulum monster or Pendulum spell/trap from your deck to your hand. You can only activate Duels Alliance once per turn. Search the deck, add Majespecter Fox QB. Summon QB. QB adds Majespecter Tornado, as you'd probably expect. Lexi activates Polymerization, fusing Clayman with Bubbleman with Ocean to create Elemental Hero Call. I activate Majespecter Tornado, getting rid of QB to banish it. Then he activates Miracle Fusion, banishes all three of those again to summon Elemental Hero Core again. Anyway, go battle phase, we attack our Speedroid Domino Butterfly and that is sent to the graveyard. And actually no, it's sent to the extra deck because we remember that, but we didn't remember that from Majespecter Fox QB. Put Banunkie in the Pendulum Zone. I don't know why we've done this again. Instead of just summoning Banunkie, we really could have saved the Majespecter Gust and got a bit more value off of it, but whatever. We summon the Banunkie to our field, use Banunkie's effect, get Majespecter Crow Yatta, summon Yatta, search for a Majespecter spell card, we get Majespecter Cyclone, activate Cyclone, getting rid of Yatta, which pops the core. He draws Hero Barrier, sets it face down. I get Majespecter Tempest, set it face down, sets Elemental Hero Woodsman face down, tribute Banunkie for my Fox QB off of Majesty's Pegasus, search for Tornado. Anyway, so he activates Fusion Sage. Now you may notice that Lexi did not add anything to their hand. I don't even have Poly in my deck. This man is playing a few Elemental Heroes, the fusion-based deck, with a single copy of Polymerization, and he's running Fusion Sage. He flipped Elemental Hero Woodsman face up. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can add one Polymerization from your deck to your hand, which you can't do because his only Polymerization is in the graveyard. Lexi is on Galaxy, and I am on Vendread. Now, given the hand that I have here, what do you think is going to happen? First things first, Lexi makes a draw offer because he's a coward. Second things second, I activate my ever-living Underworld Cannon. And of course, when a zombie-type monster is special summoned to your side of the field, you inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent. I then set Scapegoats face down and pass my turn. Lexi's turn then, he activates his Excel Light, which if he controls no monsters, he can special summon one level 4 or lower Photon or Galaxy monster from his deck, and he can only activate it once per turn. He chooses Galaxy Wizard, and from there we'll pass the turn. I draw and pass my turn immediately, for some reason not flipping up the Scapegoats I control in order to go into a level 5 Synchro monster, by the way, only a 7-card extra deck. He summons his Cypher Twin Raptor, discards his Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon in order to special summon from deck his Cypher Wing. He will then discard Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in order to summon another Cypher Wing. For some reason he just did that twice, even though that's a hard one per turn, but okay. Anyway, he overlays 3 monsters, giving him Neo Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, which is not the correct card, by the way. That requires 3 level 9 monsters. He attacks into my Scapegoats, flipping up my Scapegoats, and summoning 4 Scapegoat tokens. And because I summoned 4 monsters, 4 zombie-type monsters, apparently I inflict 800 damage for each of them, inflicting 3,200 damage per ever-living Underworld Cannon, nuking him for 6,400 life points. Well, I activate Vendread Knights, and I can discard 1 card and add 1 Vendread monster from my deck to my hand, Vendread Revenants. Then, because Vendread Strategy was sent to the graveyard, I can activate its effect in order to special summon it back to the field, inflicting the remaining 1,600 points of damage to Lexi, winning me the game. Because that's how Ever-Living Underworld Cannon works, apparently. Hey, just a quick interlude to say that only 1% of my viewers are actually subscribed. Only 1% of you? So if that's you, make sure it stops being you. Otherwise I will find you. Right, another game against Lexi then. I am playing Malefic in this one, and Lexi is playing, I want to say it's like Moki-Moki? Anyway, first turn draw, we still believe in that. I set 2 cards face down and just pass the turn. He activates 1 Day of Peace, we both draw a card, and no battle damage can be inflicted this turn. He sets Shining Angel face down, I activate Trade In, discarding my Malefic Blue-Eyed White Dragon in order to draw 2 more cards. I set Skill Drain face down and end the turn without summoning anything. He sets Sword of Revealing Light face down and sets the Agent of Majesty Earth face down, along with his Scapegoat. I draw my Malefic Force Stream, he activates Scapegoat, which is not a legal play, but he's gonna summon those 3 Scapegoat tokens anyway. He activates Human Wave Tactics, flips up the Agent of Mystery Earth. As Agent of Mystery Earth is a tuned monster, he tunes it with his 3 Scapegoat tokens and Shining Angel in order to summon Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Competitive players could never. Anyway, Book of Moon. Then he activates Sword of Revealing Light to flip Trishula face up, in response to Book of Moon, I guess, and then banishes my shit anyway. I didn't activate Skill Drain, by the way, for some reason. No one expects the fucking Chain Swords of Revealing Light to Book of Moon. Activate Terraforming anyway. The only reason why this is in the deck is because it can make itself indestructible. Anyway, banish Cyber Dragon, summon Malefic Cyber Dragon, and pass the turn. Activate Malefic Claw Stream in order to destroy Trishula and gain an extra counter or 2 on Kyoto Waterfront. Activate Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying his Swords of Revealing Light, commence battle phase, and attack into his Mystical Shine Ball. Human Wave Tactics activates, allowing him to special summon out another Mystical Shine Ball, and it's his turn once again. He sets down another Human Wave Tactics and a Mystical Shine Ball, passes the turn, and during the end phase he activates Human Wave Tactics, allowing him to summon 2 Moki-Mokis from the deck. He activates the Dark Factory of Mass Seduction and returns 2 Mystical Shine Balls from his graveyard to his hand. He sets Gravity Bind face down, and because he wanted symmetry, he puts it in the middle. I pass the turn, he summons Marsh Macaron, commences battle phase in order to destroy Marsh Macaron, and then summon 2 Marsh Macaron from his deck during the end phase. Now, here's where shit gets real. He commences battle phase after drawing Bhutan. Marsh Macaron attacks into my Malefic Cyber Dragon, destroying it, and then summons Bhutan, and he passes his turn. Over to him, because I still can't attack due to the effect of Gravity Bind, I discard for hand size, and then 5 for Stardust Dragon. I don't know where he got these Mystical Shine Balls from, but he just decided he wanted to summon them, I guess, and then goes into Stardust Dragon, and because of Gravity Bind, Stardust Dragon can't attack. He concedes. On to the next game then. Once again, we are facing Lexi, full 60 card deck and 15 card extra deck, whereas he is running a 40 card deck and 15 card extra deck. He sets Scrap Iron Scarecrow face down and plays literally nothing else. I set face down a Breakthrough Skill, Mirror Force, and Needlebug Nest, and summon my Scapegoats in face down defense position. It's Lexi's turn then. He draws a Trebons and sets face down a Hero Emerges, along with Book of Moon and a DNA Transplant. Passing over the turn to me, I add Book of Light to my hand, and then I will flip face up my Scapegoats in order to special summon out my 4 Scapegoat tokens. I will then Synchro summon with 4 of them in order to summon the Old Entity Hastor. I will then pass the turn back to Lexi. He draws Magic Cylinder, sets it face down, and passes the turn back to me. I activate Needlebug Nest, milling 5 cards from the top of my deck. Attack for 2,300 points of damage, but it gets countered by the Scrap Iron Scarecrow. It's Lexi's turn once again, and he draws DNA Surgery, which he sets face down. It's my turn. I draw Skull Servant, flip Old Entity Hastor face up, commence battle phase, and attack for 2,300 points of damage, which gets negated and smacked back at me with a Magic Cylinder, and 1,600 points of damage to the face, which gets blocked by the Scrap Iron Scarecrow. It's Lexi's turn once again, and he draws Harpy's Feather Duster, which he immediately plays, destroying both of my face down cards. We go into the next turn. I draw, set White Prince face down, he sets Dark Bribe face down, I summon King of Skull Servants, which has a grand total of 4,000 attack points. However, I just pass the turn immediately. Lexi draws, pass the turn, I draw, pass the turn, Lexi draws, set Speed Warrior face down, pass the turn, I draw, set Burial from a Different Dimension face down, commence battle phase, and attack into the Speed Warrior. He blocks using a Scrap Iron Scarecrow, I attack with my White Princess, and destroy the Speed Warrior. He activates a Hero Emerges, discards Krebons to summon the Tricky. Then normal summons Tuning Wear, activates DNA Transplant. He declares the Water attribute. DNA Surgery, declaring the Aqua type. He then Synchro summons level 8 into Graydle Dragon, which requires an Aqua type Tuna monster, which due to DNA Surgery, the fucking junk Anchor was, and when he is Synchro summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of water attribute monsters used for this card's Synchro summon, which all 3 of these were due to DNA Transplant, and destroy them. He destroys my face down, my White Princess, and my King of Skull Servants, and I concede on the spot. No one expects the fucking Graydle Dragon tech in fucking whatever the hell this is. Synchro summon pile against Mr. Sir Bacon Bits. This replay happened ages after the other ones, but you'll see why I included this. I'm running Cyber Dragons, they are running Ancient Gears. He activates his Ancient Gear Castle, along with Ancient Gear Catapult, destroying his Ancient Gear Castle, allowing him to summon the Ancient Gear Golem directly from his deck. He sets 2 cards face down and passes the turn. I activate Photon Sanctuary, allowing me to special summon 2 Photon tokens in defense position. We get rid of both of those in order to summon some Sun Summoner. I discard my Thunder Dragon to add 2 more Thunder Dragons from my deck to my hand. Then I of course do the classic play that every Thunder Dragon player knows. I discard Thunder Dragon in order to add Bolt Thunder Dragon and Origin Thunder Dragon from my deck to my hand. To banish Bolt Thunder Dragon from deck, adding Avian Thunder Dragon from deck to hand, and then of course we will discard the Thunder Dragon, adding Bestial Thunder Dragon from deck to hand, and Thunder Dragon Fusion, because, you know, it just says add 2 Thunder Dragon. That could mean anything, you know? It could mean even adding Thunder Dragon Fusion, which I will then activate in order to go into Lord instead of Colossus. For some reason. Anyway, we will then discard our Avian Thunder Dragon in order to summon regular Thunder Dragon. We will discard Bolt Thunder Dragon in order to add Bolt's Thunder Dragon from deck to hand. And because I activated the effect of a Thunder Dragon monster in my hand, I get to destroy 1 card he controls due to Lord's effect. And then I will discard Bolt Thunder Dragon because this card does not have a hard once per turn on it. No sir, no siree. Add Bolt Thunder Dragon from my deck to my hand, and then use Thunder Dragon Lord's effect again to destroy his face down card. I will then banish in order to summon my Aeon Thunder Dragon. By the way, we can only summon light attribute monsters, just thought you might want to know that. Lord's effect, because I activated the effect of a Thunder Dragon in my hand, destroys his Ancient Gear Golem, and I completely obliterate him. You just gotta, I'm just built different, that's just what it is. I am just built different, ladies and gentlemen. That is how it is. You know, competitive players, they just don't understand that you can search out your entire deck by just discarding Thunder Dragons. Competitive players don't understand that if you don't want to abide by a condition that a card has put in place, you don't have to. You can just summon whatever you want. Competitive players don't understand that you can just ignore hard once per turn effects. This is where we see the dawn of another one of my old favorite decks. That grass looks greener. What could I possibly be milling? 6 cards off the top of my deck, by the way, because I'm running 60. I'm not even running 60, hang on. I'm running 57. That's more criminal. We mill 6 Infernoid cards. Activate Void Expansion. I set a card face down, and I banish 2 monsters in order to summon Infernoid's Jet. It is Omp's turn. He sets a card face down, being Anti-Spell Fragrance, and activates Tuning to add 1 Synchro monster from his deck to his hand, and then send the top card of his deck to the graveyard. So he sends, from the top of his deck to the graveyard, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Is he playing a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck? Is he going to fucking Synchro summon into a Zero Eyes Silver Dragon? Well, let me tell you, no, he adds Junk Synchron to his deck, because of course it's Tuning as a Synchron monster. Anyway, then he activates Monster Reborn in order to summon back the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Battle phase, attacks over Jet, and it dies. I take an extra 600 points of damage, and he passes the turn to me. I summon my Void Expansion token and activate the Void Launch Trap card during each of my standby phases, allowing me to send 2 Infernoid monsters from deck to grave, which I do handily. Next, I banish 2 monsters in order to revive Jet from the graveyard, placing him in defense position, because who knew that the counter to Infernoids was apparently just the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, then he sets Pendulum Scale Black Fang Magician. This is just everything. This is soup. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster soup. He attacks over my Infernoid token, getting rid of it completely, which is perfectly fine. Anyway, next standby phase, I summon the token back and send 2 monsters from deck to grave, and summon a new token for some reason. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, we pass the turn and get rid of our token that wasn't meant to be there. Blue Eyes White Dragon attacks Infernoid's Jet, and he passes the turn. I summon a new token due to my standby phase, and mill 2 more Infernoid cards from my deck. And apparently that's just it. We don't summon anything else. We don't even try to fight back. He sets 2 cards face down and summons Hyper Synchron. Go battle phase, and he attacks over both of my tokens. Passing the turn. Standby phase, summons a new token, and we send 2 more Infernoid monsters to the graveyard. I don't know why I'm not sending Ononku or Deviati, but sure, whatever. We banish 1 from our graveyard and 1 from our field in order to summon Infernoid Saitamus, and then we will banish 3 more in order to summon Deviati. There we go. We send all spells and trap cards on the field to the graveyard, and I activate a new Void Expansion, passing the turn over. He goes into battle phase immediately, destroying Deviati and my defense position Saitamus. Again, who knew that the ultimate counter to all Infernoid plays, one of the strongest meta decks of its time, was just the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, he passes the turn, not having summoned anything else. Void Expansion allows me to summon another token during my standby phase, and that's it apparently. That's all I do, because Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, he says Limit Overdrive. Goes battle phase again. Hyper Synchron attacks over my token, and Blue Eyes White Dragon to the face. This thing is putting in work. I don't know how it's not dead yet. We banish 1 and the token in order to summon Infernoid's Jet and attack over the Hypersynchron, getting rid of it once and for all, saving myself a little bit of damage, and using Jet's effect to banish a monster from his extra deck, being Catchy Dragon. Anyway, we end the battle phase, he goes on to his next turn, and Blue Eyes White Dragon runs over Infernoid's Jet. It's my turn again, I set a card face down, completely forgetting my token. There we go, there's our token. We have Void Imagination, Magic Cylinder, and Tuning? I don't think that's correct. He draws, sets card face down, being Junk Synchron, and sets Junk Barrage face down, goes battle phase, and attacks over my token, and gets hit with the Magic Cylinder for 3,000 points of damage, keeping my token on the board. I summon another token during my standby phase, and we go into Infernoid's Jet by using up both of my tokens. Attacking the face down defense position monster, we get rid of Junk Synchron, pass the turn, and of course Jet's effect activates, sending Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from the extra deck to the banished zone. Battle phase commences, Blue Eyes White Dragon, the ever so reliable meta counter, runs over Infernoid's Jet. I really just need a way to out him. Anyway, token, we get rid of token. Finally, we run into an Infernoid Harmer Penis, and we get rid of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but of course he can't attack during the turn that happens. Set a card face down, set another card face down. What could it be? Debris Dragon. Summon a token, use Infernoid Harmer Penis' special ability to get rid of the Debris Dragon, and he draws a card. Goes into Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, apparently. The Supreme King Dragon Darkworm runs over Infernoid Harmer Penis. Set a card face down, summon a token for the turn, and banish both of my tokens. Go into the graveyard to get my Infernoid Cytimus, and apparently just end the turn not running over the Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, because I guess I'm afraid of fucking Junk Barrage, Limit Overdrive, and Exchange of the Spirit. This is 50 cards of fucking nonsense. Mystical Space Typhoon blows up my Void expansion. I play Magic Cylinder, and finally I decide to run over Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. He draws for turn, summons BES Big Core Mark III. What is this? This is soup. This is just soup of things. This isn't pile, this is soup of things. BS Big Core Mark III goes into defense position, puts 3 counters on it. By the way, these counters aren't going to be important because I attack into BS Big Core Mark III and banish it. He activates Monster Reincarnation. Who should come back but the Blue Eyes White Dragon in attack position? The ultimate in unstoppable counters. Magic Cylinder to the face, 1,200 life points remaining. I draw for turn, I summon Infernoid Piatti by banishing 1, 2 in my graveyard, and summoning Jet by banishing another 1 and 2 from my graveyard. By the way, that was a completely illegal play, because if you were to read this, the total levels and ranks of all monsters you control are 8 or lower. I definitely did not control that few. Anyway, send them all to the graveyard. Raviel Phantasm. No one expects the biggest meta tech of all time. Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, ladies and gentlemen. Tribute 3 fiend monsters, which by the way could not be summoned. Completely illegal play. We summon the Sacred Beast to run over the Blue Eyes White Dragon, leaving my cousin at 200 life points. It's their go. They activate Hand Destruction. I discard full max. Holy shit, I need to breathe, hang on. Double Max C, ladies and gentlemen, double Max C. He has DDD, Dragon King Pendragon. I draw my 2 cards. Cyber Dragon, Synchron Carrier, and Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I'm going lightheaded. Alden in standby phase apparently. Sets Scrap Iron Scarecrow onto the field. It's my turn, I draw a card, and I just pass the turn. Excellent. He draws, he passes, I draw, I passes, he draws. Sets the monster face down in defense position. I view my graveyard a few times, banish 2 cards, summon Infernoid Piatti from graveyard, summon Infernoid Decatron. We go into Metaphys Horus. Pass the turn, draw, and he activates Darkhold, getting rid of his Nitro Synchron and my Metaphys Horus, and my Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. Activate different dimension, Burial from a different dimension, sorry. Return 3 banished monsters to the graveyard and just not do anything from there, even though I totally could just kill him from this point. He sets a Mirror Force face down, I draw a card. I summon Absolute King Packjack. Go battle phase, attack for nothing, pass the turn. Draw and pass, and activate Spell Absorption, Spell Absorption. I already know where this is going, but do you want to guess where this is going? Do you want to have a query as to where this is going? I activate Void Imagination following both spell absorptions, gaining 999,999 life points. The reason why is because we believed, for some ungodly reason, that if you controlled 2 spell absorptions and then activated a spell card, the spell absorption would give you 500 life points, then the other spell absorption would activate, restoring another 500 life points, causing the previous spell absorption to activate, giving you another 500 life points, and rinse and repeat until you just had infinite life points. Anyway, past the turn now that I have 999,999 life points, draw for turn, summon Junk Synchron, view the graveyard, special summon Synchron Carrier, both of those into the Junk Warrior. Equip Junk Barrage, attack over my Absolute King Backjack, inflicting 2,300 points of damage. Absolute King Backjack's effect activates, I return all 3 of those to the deck in any order that I choose, draw a card, and card destruction. What did he send to the graveyard? He's got a Transmodify in it. Transmodify in his deck, okay. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Effect Veiler, Polymerization, and another Blue Eyes White Dragon. He draws 5 cards. What does he draw? Gen X Neutron, Imperial Iron Wall, Blazing Mirror Force, Monster Reborn, and a Drill Synchron. Excellent. Anyway, banish 2 monsters from graveyard, summon Cytimus. Cytimus is joined by Decatron. I have nothing in my deck, so we're going to send both of those to the graveyard in order to Synchro summon into the Crimson Blader. Crimson Blader attacks over Junk Warrior. No, it doesn't, because we have Scrap Iron Scarecrow on the field. It sets itself face down. He draws another card. Monster Reborn, back into a Blue Eyes White Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. The ultimate in unstoppable counters for the Infernoid matchup. Sets Imperial Iron Wall face down, attacks my Crimson Blader. I activate Mirror Force, blowing up his entire board. He ends a turn, I draw a card. He activates Imperial Iron Wall for some reason, meaning that I can't actually use my Infernoid cards. And we are going to probably die from deck out. Anyway, activate Monster Gate, mill my entire deck except Infernoid Cytimus, which I can't actually summon off Monster Gate, Anatra, Void Feast, and Cytimus, meaning Monster Gate was an illegal play. Pass the turn over to him. Gen X Neutron, Battle Phase, hit me in the face for 1,800 damage. Pass the turn, I can't draw a card, and I lose. What a fucking game. Another game against Neon then. I'm running a 57 card deck, but at least I have a full extra deck this time. Activate Spell Absorption. You guys remember this one? Summon Infernoid Decatron in defense position. Decatron's effect sends Jet to the graveyard, making it level 7. And then I activate Card Destruction, which gives me an extra 500 life points, and we both discard our entire hands. There's the Ravia, Lord of Phantasms. Now let's see what he was running, by the way, before we get to this future fusion that I've just played. Gamma CL, Graydle Slime Jr., Graydle Alligator, Graydle Impact, and Graydle Combat. Future fusion happens, and I decide to just ignore the fact that it says during the first standby phase, and this is actually the errated version, and instead I just activate its effect now, milling a fuck ton of cards, banishing Infernoid Primus for Infernoid Harmer Penis, and ending the turn. He sets 2 cards face down and activates Moray of Greed, returning Graydle Cobra and another Graydle monster from his hand to his deck, and drawing 3 cards. Then activating Salvage, adding Graydle Slime Jr. and the Graydle Alligator that I sent using my card destruction back to his hand. He sets a card face down and a Graydle Eagle in face down defense position, and it's my turn. He activates Jar of Avarice in order to return 5 cards back to his deck, and draws 1 card. These cards were fucking lifesavers back in the day. Anyway, I gain 500 life points for some reason, because of Future Fusion activating, of course. Harmer Penis goes in for Graydle Eagle. For those of you who know your Infernoid cards, you would know that this is basically a guaranteed fucking win for Infernoids. I mean, what? Send Graydle Eagle to the graveyard, target Harmer Penis, okay. Activate Harmer Penis's effect in order to banish itself, in order to banish 1 Graydle monster from the graveyard, aka Graydle Eagle, therefore his effect is completely nullified. I don't do that. Instead, I just let him take Infernoid Harmer Penis, banish 2 monsters from the graveyard in order to summon Infernoid Jet, and attack over my Infernoid Harmer Penis with Sajet. By the way, summoning it in the battle phase, because I'm just that good. Sajet banishes Ally of Justice Cataster, and we move over to Lexi's turn. Activate Galaxy Cyclone, which gets rid of spell absorption, but I do gain 500 life points from activating a spell card. He sets another card face down, and it's my turn once more. Future Fusion's effect activates in order to summon my Infernoid Tiara, which was summoned using 10 materials. Therefore, we each send 3 monsters from our extra decks to our graveyards. By the way, for some reason I just get rid of Proxy Dragon and 2 VLAN Hydras instead of, I don't know, Infernoid fucking Tiara, Entis, any of the other bonus effects I could get from having an extra deck full of cards that want to be sent to the graveyard. I send Jet, Dectron, and Void Feast from the top of my deck. He sends Max C, invoking Graydle, Impact, and Gamma CL, I return 3 banished cards to the graveyard. And finally, we discard our entire hands. Jet attacks Graydle Alligator. Graydle Alligator's effect activates, targeting my Infernoid Jet for some reason. Uses Graydle Split in order to get rid of that and summon 2 more Graydle monsters from the deck. And now it's Lexi's turn once more. He summons Graydle Slime Jr., summoning Graydle Cobra from the graveyard, and then Synchro summoning with 3 monsters into the Graydle Dragon, popping my Infernoid Tiara and Infernoid Decatron, leaving me completely open to take 4,500 points of damage. He summons Infernoid Tiara from my graveyard, which I accidentally sent back to the graveyard, there we go, because we didn't actually know that you couldn't summon monsters from, like, extra deck monsters from the graveyard into main monster zones. We thought you had to summon it into the extra monster zone, and also the fact that that's not what Graydle Parasite does at all. When a Graydle monster you control declares a direct attack, you get to target the monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to their side of the field if they control no monsters. So he would get to summon my Infernoid Tiara in attack position, run into it, and go for game. But I pulled a Yugi and used his fucking dark magic Graydle Parasite against him. I switched Tiara to attack mode. Whose turn is it? Hang on, what? He banishes Cosmic Cyclone from his graveyard during my turn in order to destroy my Magic Cylinder. Anyway, go battle phase, run over Graydle Slime Jr. Graydle Slime Jr., by the way, has an effect when it's destroyed by battle. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Graydle monster from your deck. He didn't even know this, right? He didn't know this effect existed until like fucking years later. He just never read it. This is a common trope with the fucking decks that we play, right? We just don't read card effects. Anyway, both Graydle Eagle and Graydle Parasite to the graveyard and also summon Graydle Slime. And because Graydle Eagle was destroyed by a card effect, he's able to take control of my Tiara. Then he summons Graydle Cobra from the graveyard, goes into battle phase. I take 6,400 damage. It's on to my turn. I banish 3 monsters from my graveyard and summon Infernoid Ononku, which destroys all monsters he controls. However, he gets to bring one back because of Graydle Dragon's effect. I then attack over the Graydle Eagle. Graydle Eagle's effect activates, of course, stealing my Infernoid Ononku. I then banish 3 more monsters in order to summon Inferno Deviati from graveyard, which destroys all spell and trap cards on the field, including the Graydle Eagle. He activates Swords of Revealing Light. I activate that Grasslook Screener to get a couple mills. He activates Salvage, returning 2 water attribute monsters from his graveyard to his hand. Special summons Graydle Slime Jr. Graydle Slime Jr.'s effect activates in order to summon Cobra and Eagle, sending both them to the graveyard in order to summon his Graydle Dragon, destroying my Deviati, leaving me down to 100 life points and a dream. I draw for turn, a single card in my hand, fuck tons of Infernoids in my graveyard. What do? Swords of Revealing Light is on 2 counters. I banish 3 monsters in order to summon Infernoid Ononku. Ononku's effect allows me to destroy all monsters on the field and of course get rid of his Graydle Dragon. He is now controlling exclusively Graydle Eagle and also has Supply Squad in play. For some reason, he does not attack Graydle Eagle into Ononku, destroying his Graydle Eagle, taking control of the Ononku and killing me. Instead, I get to draw for turn, takes control of my Ononku, then during the battle phase, I banish 3 monsters from my graveyard in order to summon Infernoid Deviati, destroying his 2 back row and attacking face with Deviati, inflicting 2,900 life points of damage. He sets a single card face down, being a Graydle Parasite, and passes the turn. It's my turn once more. I immediately go battle phase, going for the clean, perfect kill, but he activates Graydle Parasite, thereby summoning Graydle Dragon from his graveyard, which is not a thing he can do. He can only summon from the deck. That apparently continues my... No replay. We didn't believe in the fact that replays existed, and I attack my Deviati into his Graydle Dragon, thereby inflicting 100 points of damage to me, killing me. I forgot to record an outro to this video. Whoops. Moral of the story, just cheat. Who's gonna stop you? The cards have no real power over you. They're merely words on the card that we as a collective community decree to have any form of meaning. You must break free from the shackles of card text. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go summon an Elder God.